Leap of faith.
Really nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. You got to stand up, yeah?
That's the easy part.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
It's been lovely to meet you.
Likewise.
YouTube soon.
I got pressure on it. I got 3 potential subscribers.
Only if you remember.
Happy travels. Morning people, this is day 4 and today I'm only walking, I believe, 14.7 miles. Tonight is a luxury night because I'm staying in a youth hostel, Truleigh Hill. So, I keep on going. I think we've just about hit halfway now. It's 50 miles down, 50 miles to go. As I continue to plod on, I've met so many other people, in particular today. Came across a young family of 3 and they were all walking it. Daughter was about 12 years of age, rucksack on her back and plodding along with her mum and dad. And then just before that I met a couple. They're doing the North Downs Way and South Downs Way similar to myself, but they're doing it North Downs and then South Downs, and then they've been out for 20 days doing it so far. They're in their 70s, and the guy was actually saying that he's only got to do one more trail and he's done all the national trails to get his gold medal. So we persevere and we keep going. I just reached the A24 that heads down to Worthing. I believe the other way it goes to Horsham. I believe it's about the 7.5 mile point for me today, with still another 7 miles to go. Coming into the little village called Washington. So on our right hand side we see some cottages mainly built of flint. A nice looking church here on our left hand side. And hopefully I'm going to get some sort of like food here, because I'm just thinking about it. I haven't eaten all day yet, just drank loads of water. They have an abundance of flint here. The church is made of flint, the houses are made of flint, the walls are made of flint.
This is Chancery Hill, an ancient hill which has been a host for many civilisations through the past. The Neolithic settlement started here, and then an Iron Age enclosed farm dating back to 600 BC has been historically documented. From there, the Romans and pagans used this site for religious purposes. Also a place for devil worshippers. Since then it's been a place of mystery with several paranormal sightings and stories through the past, including a man being lifted 5 feet from the ground, levitating for several seconds and the eerie noises scaring people away. Looking across, we can see the larger Sistary Ring, another ancient Neolithic settlement, later becoming an Iron Age fort. There is evidence of several flint mines on the hilltop. Within the settlement, flint had many uses, including arrowheads and for axes.
This is where we've come from, and then seeing in the background we've got some hills. I believe that's the North Downs. So behind there is, behind the trees is Dyke. You can see that glorious view. Moving across, we've got the peak of this hill, not named. And then in the background, we have Brighton, the coast. And then as far as we can see, I believe that's called Seaford. The famous Devil's Dyke. Believed to be famous because the devil decided to make a big hole and put all the parishes inside. Obviously that didn't work very well. Second biggest ditch in the UK, although I'm not sure what is the biggest. It is day 5. Last night was a dream actually, staying in a youth hostel, although I forgot about the snorers. When you stay in a youth hostel, there's quite a few people that's in one room, so in bunk beds. And a male room of 6 people, you're bound to have at least one person that snores, and there was 2. So half decent night. It was pleasant enough to sleep in a proper bed rather than in a tent. 2 more days and we're there. We've finished the walk.
Here we have Jack and Jill Windmills. Jill being the white one we see first, and Jack being behind, mainly made of brick. Jill is a post mill and Jack is a tower mill. Jill was born in 1821 and Jack in 1866. It feels weird to say built when they are people's names, so let's say they came into the world on those dates. Both mills turn with the wind using gears and a pivot point, but by different ways. All the white wooden parts will turn with the wind, moving around on its timber pivot post. Jack over there is a more modern mill, mainly made of brick, where only the top white part will move with the wind. Today, Jill is run by a heritage society and Jack is privately owned. This is the second highest point of the South Downs Way, and actually the highest point of Sussex. Virginia Woolf was an English writer, born in January 1882 in London, and has been described as one of the most important modernist authors of the 20th century. Mrs. Dalloway and The Lighthouse were 2 of her best-selling novels. Her approach to writing of non-linear narratives started a new genre. She died by suicide by putting stones in her pockets and jumping from this bridge to the River House. Alfriston is one of the oldest villages in the county. It was founded in the Saxon period and became a market town in the Middle Ages. The village boasts a pair of intriguing historical inns. The Market Cross was a famous smuggler's haunt during the 18th century, a gang headed by Stanton Collins. Stanton was the leader of the Alfriston gang of smugglers. He was transported to Australia in 1830. The Star Inn originally dates to 1345, when built as a hostel for travelling monks and pilgrims, from Battle Abbey to the shrine of St Richard at Chichester Cathedral, who is the patron saint of Sussex, rebuilt in the 16th century as an inn and hotel.
I haven't really done much of a video on what kit I'm carrying, but I've got the elk kit, Orders 2-man tent. I think it's 2.8 pounds in weight. The rucksack I use is a Lower Alpine Earzone Pro 35-45 litre. Morning. So last day of the South Downs Way, got 12 miles to do. We stayed at Alfriston Camp Site last night, and it's been quite tough in places. There's a lot of hills, but overall it's been a good old walk. 100 miles. Today we're going into Alfreston, and then we're going to pass the old Clergy House, which is building by the National Trust, then alongside the river, and then up towards the Seven Sisters Country Park, which is chalk hills, I presume ups and downs of 7 of the hills. Then we get to Beachy Head. After Beachy Head, it's a stroll into Eastbourne and the finish of the trail. So let's plod on. Last day, let's crack on.
This is the old Clergy House, a timber-framed Wilden house built in the 14th century. It was the first house saved for the nation after the National Trust purchased the property in 1896 for £10 with £350 of repairs. Sir Robert Witt became the first tenant of the property from 1907 to 1952. After the Trust purchased the property, Sir Robert, a lawyer and art historian, went on to become the co-founder of the National Arts Collection Fund and co-founder of Court Arts Institute of Art in 1932. He and his wife created the Witt Library, which housed 600,000 prints of art.
This is the Church of Alfriston, and as you can see, the spire has been repaired. Not sure what job I would like to do, sitting up there all day, especially as it looks like it's going to rain soon. Anyway, we're going to have a look inside the church to see what that looks like. The lines for the bell ringing of campanology going towards the altar. The organ on the left. So this is the Church of Alfreston.
The National Trust was set up in 1895. They purchased buildings of historical or architectural interest and land of natural beauty for preservation for the benefit of the nation. But if they weren't successful in purchasing the old Clergy House, then maybe things would have been different. They wouldn't have gone on to purchase other impressive houses throughout the country, which include Polesden Lacey in Surrey, Hardwick Hall in Derbyshire, and Cliveden in Buckinghamshire, and land such as Giant's Causeway in Northern Ireland, over 20% of the Lake District, and the Seven Sisters, where we are heading to today.
Over on the hill you can see the White Horse, which is carved out of the chalk. In 1924, the father and the son cleared it over, believed to be in just one night. Then when World War II came, the army covered it up. When they had bombing raids, they didn't want it to be seen as a location to hit. And then I believe in the 60s they uncovered it again to what it is today. The cocking front leg of the horse means that it's a memorial to horses that were lost in battle. It's a bit random having a fence with a height restriction in the middle of a woodland. Just missed a Spitfire that flew over. Well, if you love steps, you'll love the last day. I'm guessing there's about maybe 150 steps. If you're feeling it after the 90 odd miles and last 10 miles to go, those steps don't half take it out of you. Once you get to the top, you get this view as the river curls round to the sea. Moving over to our left hand side, I think that's the start of Seven Sisters Country Park. So I've just got to the top of the first hill. As you can see, heading up towards, I believe if it's called Bell Tout, which is the lighthouse right on the top ridge. Beyond that is Beachy Head, I believe Burling Gap is it, somewhere in between, and then we head down into Eastbourne to the end. Last one of the Seven Sisters. This one, then we're going down to Burling Gap, then up to Bell Tout, the lighthouse, and then on to Beachy Head. Okay, Beachyhead 3 miles away, Eastbourne 4.5 miles. That means I've walked 95.5 miles. And the last little bit to do. And looking over here, there's a lovely house, although you can't see it very well at the moment. It's got great views over the ocean, which I'm sure over the summer is a great summer house. Probably not so good in the winter. This is my selfie of people standing at Burling Gap up on the cliff, getting so close to the edge of the cliff that they could find out they may fall off the cliff. I think I'll do it from a safer distance. This seems to be a new craze. Taking the dog for a walk by putting him in a rucksack, or possibly it could be a cat. One mile to go, 99 miles down, and 1 more mile, and we're in Eastbourne. End of the South Downs Way. It's been epic, so it's ups and downs, and that's why it's called the South Downs. As you can see, just coming towards Eastbourne. Okay, another trail completed. 100 miles of the South Downs Way, Winchester to Eastbourne. Taken me 6 days. It's been lots of ups and downs, and that's why it's called the South Downs Way. It's been quite windy at times, rain, hail. I've had the lot, but now it's time to get some fish and chips from Eastbourne and take a couple of days break. But I've enjoyed it.